YouTube Nation, Maven TV, aka me TV, aka the Lone Gunman. And I say that because right now that's how I feel. I want to say right now that I'm kind of, you know what, no, I'm not disappointed at you gamers. I'm pissed off at you gamers, all right, for having lack of discipline. And I'm going to explain this right now because all this week I have received nothing but, you know, mail from you gamers saying, Event, I'm sorry, I apologize. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this for? Now, this is just not just on the fan page, but on the Twitter and you know, guys sending me private messages on, YouTube? I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, what's this all about? And you open it up, and they say, I know all the information that you've been giving us between EA and Capcom and all their wrongdoing, but I still bought their product. Because I needed to. Because you needed to, huh? Alright? Guys sent me stuff on Twitter saying that, you know, look at this conversation. There's a guy talking about DLC. I absolutely hate DLC. I am so against DLC. But now I have to buy this DLC because of a certain character that's going to be in the game, and I have to have it. I need it. They got me by the balls. You gotta be kidding me. First off, you don't need to buy a game. You don't need to buy DLC. Alright? Anyone who thinks that they need to buy something when it comes to a game, you have a problem. You have an addiction. There's something wrong with you. You need help. Alright? These companies don't have you by the balls. I don't even know where this comes from. Alright? And then you try to justify it. Alright? Well, I just want to see how the story ends. Hey, you can go on YouTube and watch story. Alright? I'm not trying to hear that. And this is why I feel these apologies are bullshit. I'm being serious with you. I'm being honest with you. That's how I feel. All right? These apologies are bullshit. These apologies to me feel like you're saying you're sorry to avoid confrontation instead of being sincere. That's what it feels like to me. All right? I'm just telling you how I feel. All right? I'm not jumping on you. I'm just saying that's how I feel about these apologies. All right? So as far as I'm concerned, it feels bullshit. I put it like this. You knew what you were doing before you messaged me, did you not? You went out. You bought the game, you came back, you played it or whatever, and then decide to come back and say, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hear that, man. It's not like you blacked out, lost your mind, and just ran out and bought something, all right? I'm not trying to hear that. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't accept your apologies. It's bullshit. If anything, you make us look worse. You're hurting, you know, for people who love this community, you sure as hell hurting it more. You have to understand, guys, that you have to have some type of discipline. You do. These companies do not control you. They do not have you by the balls. They don't, all right, or the tits or whatever. They don't, all right? The consumers control the market. And I'm going to show you more of an example of that today. Yeah, we're going to get into some stuff today, all right? But like I said, guys, you have to chill with that. What is wrong with you? You have to understand, when you do something like that, it's pretty much a stab in the back. You got to think, not just myself, but other people here on YouTube, all right? We care. We're fighting for you. Don't you understand that? And that's how you repay us? What's wrong with you? And that goes for any other YouTuber out there who has the balls to get on here and tell it like it is and let you know. And the first thing I see all the time is, well, it seems like everyone just calls us a bunch of names. They call us stupid and everything. Yeah, because you're acting stupid, stupid. Stop buying the garbage. But you still buy it anyway. And you have to understand, it frustrates all of us because no matter how much information we give you, no matter how much wrongdoing these companies, you know, do, it seems like you just don't care. It seems like you almost have a breaking point. Like you're just going to give in. If they push you enough, you'll give in. That's what it feels like. And that's how it shouldn't be. Guys, you shouldn't feel pressured into buying a game. And that's the first thing I see, all right? You go on a forum, oh, you're not going to buy this game? And the response from other gamers would be, well, you know, have fun being out of the loop. Have fun being a loser. Look, you have to understand, guys, all right, that peer pressure is not part of gaming. It's not. They can't make you feel guilty for not buying a product. Don't you understand that? Remember when gaming was about getting away from peer pressure? Remember that? Yeah, now they're using it as a weapon to get to you. They're trying to make you feel guilty so you can buy a product. And it seems like since the media has started, the developers down to the media started doing it, it's catching on to the gamers, and now the gamers are using it. It's becoming a joke. Guys, understand, there are so many of us out here who will fight for you. Even people who don't get on camera, right? You have to understand, there's a lot of people who contribute to what I do, all right? A lot. There's a lot of people who do legwork and send me information, all right? And so it's not just you're disappointing me, you're disappointing them as well. You have to understand, this is what I mean about community. It's a team effort. And they deserve just as much credit as what, you know, for what they do as what I do. You have to understand, guys, there's a lot of us that are involved in this. A lot of gamers. and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. Let's start, because let's start more. All right, let's just do this. Let's get this out of the way. I've talked a little bit too much already. First off, as you all know, EA has become the worst company in America. Now, EA says that this is their response. We're sure that bank presidents, oil, tobacco, weapon companies, and all they're all relieved they aren't on the list. They weren't on this list this year. We are going to continue making award-winning games and services played by more than 300 million people worldwide. First off, they're throwing that in your face. 300 million people worldwide. I told you before, they were gouging their origin numbers. That's number one. Number two, they are pivoting, all right? We're talking about EA. We're not talking about weapon companies and bank presidents and oil and tobacco. First off, they're in a completely different league than EA, all right? And if anybody, and I noticed a lot of people are saying that EA isn't the worst company when you have all these different companies. They're in a completely different league. You cannot put them on the same level. If oil and tobacco companies and weapon manufacturers and things like that are a big problem, then guess what? You need to look at your government. That's what you need to do. That's a completely different issue, all right? Completely different issue. And the thing is, EA tries to do this. That's what I mean by pivoting. They try to push it off on someone else. You know, that's what they're doing. But we'll talk about this because it's interesting, because in this article, they say, you know, to those who might sneer at something as non-essential as a video game company winning the worst company in America vote, that is exactly the kind of attitude that allows people to ignore the complaints and as companies like EA to nickel and dime consumers to death. That is part of the article. Like I said, everything I'm telling you today will be in the info bar for you to read. It's very interesting, but that's not all. No. Popcap comes out and defends EA, right? They say, everyone makes mistakes. It says, Vecchi wrote, it says, EA does not have a perfect past. It's made HR mistakes. It's made huge game design screw-ups. It's messed up studios, marketing campaigns, and beloved franchises. It says sometimes all at once. It says, it says, and it will do so again. It says, there's no perfect company, and I won't promise perfection from Popcap either, all right? Now, I'll put it like this. You have to understand, it's not about making mistakes. It's about EA not caring. That's what it comes down to. They don't care, and they don't listen, and they keep repeating the same mistakes. They don't learn from them. That's the problem. It's not about making mistakes. It's about not learning from them, all right? And Popcap is the last person to talk, because there's a legion of fans right now since, what, November, that are very pissed off at Bejeweled 3 on PSN because they can't sync up their trophies. Just saying, maybe you should worry about your own products and get in contact with PSN or whoever and get that fixed. Don't come out and talk about this, because they try to say, you know, there's a reason why, you know, we just wanted to, you know, back EA, and this is the reason why, you know, we accepted the buyout. That's what it is. All right, so guys, let's keep going. Now, for those who don't know, you gamers, even though I said I was pissed off at you, I do have to give some of you a round of applause. A round of applause. Because first off, I'm sure it took gamers a lot just to get EA voted, you know, the worst company in America. But that's not all. Now, I told you before, when you act mature and you go through the right channels, you can make a difference as a consumer. I told you that before, and it's already starting this week. This is the reason why I'm doing this, to show you guys that it does work. I've been giving you examples for 2 years now on how consumers control the market and how EA or any other company, if the fans say enough, they'll back down. Well, check this out. The Better Business Bureau is after EA and says that Mass Effect 3 is falsely advertised. That's right. That's right. That's not all. No. And the thing is, a lot of people are upset, especially what I'm telling you right now, because the Better Business Bureau as well. I told you guys about Capcom. About if you go and, you know, you talk to them, you know, the Better Business Bureau, they'll do something about it. There were so many complaints. I went on the Better Business Bureau's website, all right? There's about 42 complaints against Capcom, all right? 42. And guess what? It prompted the Better Business Bureau over this DLC issue, all right? On this DLC issue, yeah. Prompted them to drop their grading. That is a start. Now, people, you're probably asking, how does that, you know, affect anything, dropping their grading? I'll explain, all right? Because when a company's grade is dropped, that hurts their shareholders. That means it changes the market. Shareholders will be pissed off. There's a chance that somebody will lose their job. Yeah, it affects a lot of things, a lot of numbers, a lot of market share. Have to understand, people will pull ads. Yeah, it does. Revenue, yes. I'm telling you guys, it's a big deal. All right. So when you see that someone has lost their letter grading, that's quite an accomplishment. Just letting you guys know. Okay. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit more, because since these type of things have happened, you have to understand, guys, that a lot of people are upset. And you should know how this is going to go by now, because we talked about this last time I did a video about how they want to label you and discredit you as consumers because you actually have the right to speak up, right? Well, you guys told me, after I told you, oh, they call you whiny, they call you this, that, and the third. Well, you guys came out, in the comments say, yeah, the new term now is alarmist. Well, I got even 2 new terms for you, because ever since this has happened, the media has once again become unprofessional, all right, and decided to discredit you again. Now they're calling you radical consumers. Now they're calling you righteous gamers. Yes. See, I told you, every time you make a step in the right direction, they want to try and knock you down and belittle you. They take it so, they're so unprofessional with things that it's ridiculous, and it's starting to show. And you know what? It's funny, because I had some clown tell me, was it just not too long ago? Well, Event, he was trolling. He came into my Devil May Cry video, and he's like, you always talk about how we're a community and how, the companies are unprofessional, but you yourself are being unprofessional. First off, I'm not in the business. I don't know where you get this from, all right? Now, if he just said I wasn't being mature, then guess what? Then I have a lot of things to show him on that, because he's absolutely wrong. And I'll show you later today too, all right? Just let you know. But it goes to show you that some people do not know what the hell they're talking about, and they will take any dig at you to knock you down. It's really that simple. You just have to be strong enough to take it and keep fighting. That's what it comes down to. But that's not all. Speaking of fighting, all right, guys, check this out. Gamers have had a petition now against EA. That's right. So now they're petitioning EA to stop EA in general because of their bad business tactics. That's what it comes down to. It's not about anything else but bad business tactics, all right? But EA has decided to do an anti-boycott petition, all right? But here's the thing. EA got caught using spam bots. That's right. Link is in the info bar for you guys. That's not all that EA has done. Check this out, all right? This is what a person sent me not too long ago. She said, hey, Event, I would like to bring to your attention about my recent experience with an EA employee. One of my new Windows Live buddies knew an EA employee. It says, so as I've been tuned into your show, I worried about EA origin spying on my hard drive and locked content, as well as leaking information. So there's a meeting. So I asked the guy for a private chat. He accepts. It says, I asked him about the current controversy about origins in my games, as I have bought Mass Effect 3. It says, I am dying to play it minus the ending, right? It says, I asked him about the locked content that's been revealed about Ashes to Ashes being on disc. He refused to comment and said he has no knowing of this. It says, which is false, as the gaming community erupted with concerns. It says, my discussion escalated because of EA and their bullshit. It says, while I'm being reasonable. It says, he threatens to ban me because I'm deluded, apparently. It says, so I remind him that that is not a valid reason to ban me. It says, so I leave next morning banned for tampering with console, yet I don't own a console. Now, I talked to this person afterwards, and they said about an hour ago that the ban was lifted. But it goes to show you that they're being very unprofessional. They don't want you to say anything bad about these games. Like I said, guys, you have to remember, back in the day, us gamers ruled. We let them know what was going on. If a company didn't stay on the straight and narrow path, guess what? They were in trouble. And we didn't play. But now this new generation of gamers, and I'm not going to say all of you, but there's a majority of you that have become this apologetic, defending, just give the companies everything they want, and now they feel they have the power because now they influence you. And now that they're feeding you the garbage, now you're falling for it. Instead of saying, hey, look, you know what? Maybe it's time that you look back on the history of gaming. You know, for all these people who swear they're diehard gamers or whatever, maybe you need a crash course in the history on how this will happen. I'm just saying, maybe you do. Because I'm telling you, we ruled. In our time, we ruled. Like I said, at this point, I'm probably a dinosaur when it comes to gaming. Even though I'm not that old. I mean, but in gaming, you know, in gaming years, it's a completely different thing. You know, they're targeting a new generation, but that's not all. Also, there's other gamers who have stepped up, and they're starting to write blogs now about EA's shenanigans. I'll put that link in the info bar for you guys. Also, EA is having problems with their renter server. That's right, and apparently it is killing Xbox 360 right now. There's so many people, I've seen so many articles online, people are very upset. Very upset, all right? I'm just saying, guys, also, Capcom, the Better Business Bureau went after Capcom as well, and again, after the ratings drop, and says that, you know, there's, their pair play wasn't advertised on the 360. Capcom, you never cease to amaze me. You never do, all right? And also, for those who need a little bit more news, all right, Resident Evil 6 will be splitting pre-orders Mercenaries mode maps between retailers. That's right. And didn't I talk about this in January, how this was going to go? It's what, April? And they're now doing it. That's how predictable Capcom is, man. And then we'll talk about this a little bit more. All right, because we have to talk about this DLC issue. Guys, you know, I don't even need this. I don't. You have to understand, people, that Capcom doesn't care about you. EA doesn't care about you. None of these companies care about you. I understand that you care about games and possibly the companies that make these games, but they don't care about you. And I'll explain. Because today, I'm going to reveal my conversation, my transcript with the Better Business Bureau and Capcom, and how Capcom admits, oh, you know what? I do still need this. All right, because I'm going to read you a little excerpt from it. Capcom admits that they were in the wrong with Final Fight. Remember, we talked about this before. And that they aren't going to change anything. But they also try to push it off on Sony. But check this out. They reveal something really, a lot more bigger than that. All right? And this is on your digital content issues, guys. So check this out. All right? First off, this is great. This is what they say. It says, we are sorry that, and it says my name, continues to be disappointed with Capcom's business decisions to include DRM on its Final Fight. Now, first off, let me say, for those who didn't think I could be mature, I've already shown it before with this Final Fight issue. Now you're definitely going to see it within all the text, okay? But it says, was an Impact game. It says, however, as Capcom previously stated, there is no business plan to remove the DRM from this particular game on the Sony PSN platform. It says further, because the purchase of the game was through the PlayStation Network store, Sony's terms of service apply, as do Sony's refund service. And it says, if any. So Capcom, you're putting your game on Sony's network, but you don't know if they have a refund policy. Really? You know, as a business, you would think that you would know these type of things. But let's keep going. It says, unfortunately, Capcom is unable to provide refunds for games purchased through this channel. Now, I will put it like this. You're able to acquire funds from the channel, but you can't do refunds. Let's keep going. It says, once again, Capcom is sorry that, and it says my name, is dissatisfied with the method of distribution of this game and has factored this dissatisfaction into our future game release decisions. All right? As we all know, their future game release decision was an exclusive for the Xbox 360 where it was everything was put on disc, even Final Fight. Okay? So, check this out. Now this is what I said to them, all right? Because that was just near the end of the conversation. Like I said, the entire transcript will be the link in the info bar for you guys. There will be some edits, and I say that because my personal information will be edited out. All right, I'm sure you guys can understand that. But let's keep going. It says, and I may make this text a little bit bigger for you, but other than that, everything is still intact. All right. Now it says, well, I should say what I say. So after all this has been said, Capcom admits the problem was on their end, which they admit in the beginning of the conversation, all right, but doesn't care about fixing the issue and pushes it on another company, Sony. It says, without taking any responsibility. The terms of service do not apply when Sony has consistently changes the rules, all right? It says, Capcom put their games on a network for consumers to buy, but have no way of refunding money back to their consumers like other companies do. So you're going to tell me that I can go to a retail company or any type of retailer, and if, you know, I buy it and I can send it, you know, take it back, I can get my money back. But if I buy it online, I can't get my money back. Hell, even online retailers have that, like Amazon. But the PlayStation doesn't, or Capcom doesn't have the ability. Okay, let's keep going, all right? It says, sounds like a one-way system for companies leaving customers in the dark. It says, and I don't believe that one bit. But if Capcom, but if what Capcom is saying is true, then they have admitted not having the consumer's best interest. It says, they admit the system only works in their favor in a supply and demand market and constantly hide behind an ever-changing terms of service that is currently in litigation. You have, now I'm done with this. You have to understand, guys, if they're going to sell you products, they have to give you another way to return those products. It's part of business. It's part of consumer rights. And I just don't understand why the video game industry feels that they are exempt from these issues. This is what I meant last time I did a video about video game industry being light years behind every other company or industry. Because there's a way to get your money back. And because you buy a digital all of a sudden, you know, that's it, it's yours until they decide that they can take it down and then you can't play it anymore. It doesn't work that way. If that's the case, then you're just renting your digital games. All right. And I know a lot of people will come and say, but the software clearly states, no, no, no. You have to understand consumer rights overrides their terms of service and their little software practices. You have to understand it. Consumer rights have been around long before, all right, Sony came along into the game and decided to start making PlayStations. It doesn't work that way. But you guys don't want to hear that, it seems. You have to understand, gamers, this week, this is the only reason I'm doing this video this week, not because of absolute frustration for what I've seen, but seeing the moves that have been made with the Better Business Bureau and the FTC and things of that nature. Gamers are taking the correct steps. They're doing the mature thing. They're going through the right channels. No longer are they going to forums. I'm sure there's some that still are, but no longer the majority going to forums and arguing with people just to get banned. They're not doing that with the companies. No, no. They're going over their head to the proper channels to get things done. And what do they have to say all in, you know, response to that? You're whining. You're complaining. You need to stop crying. That's what they have. That's the only comeback they have. Immature at its finest. Guys, and speaking of immaturity, I know a lot of you want me to talk about Devil May Cry. You know how I feel about Devil May Cry, but I'm telling you now, next week, it ends. I'm tired of all this. Really, gamers complain, saying that they're claiming victory over a trailer. Really? Really? Yeah. I'm going to deal with you Devil May Cry fans one more time. And I swear to God, if I have to I'm telling you now, if I have to really dig into it, I'm going to rip your game apart. All right? Stop playing with me. It's already bad enough that you're still complaining over a video that was done in November. All right? Get over yourselves. Yeah, like I said, you're always late to the party. All right? Get over yourselves. And the things that you've had to say about me, yeah, even trying to drop the race card, yeah, you know what? Yeah, like I said, I'm going to deal with that next week. Consider this, people, this video, consider this a nice little warm-up for you for next week. We got a lot to talk about. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. And since it's Friday, y'all have a good weekend. I'm out.